Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Bishop, the Tier 5 British SPG. This one is on the south spawn of Siegfried Line Encounter, and it's under the command of hossballs, and the game's already started. Now hossballs has got 3 marks of excellence on his Bishop, and you know that means he's played a lot of games in this vehicle. He's got his crew honed to be really top flight crewmen, and he's knocked a couple of trees down to provide him with an excellent firing position from which he can actually shoot into the city. Now the thing about the Bishop is it does have a rather short range, and in fact it did have a real short range in actual action during the war. Maximum range was only 6,400 yards, and that's 5,900 meters if you're metric, and so that's not very far. That's very close indeed. That's like firing into the very next village. And yes, so you were actually in danger of being detected. Now, the Bishop was a stopgap. In fact, originally it was known as Ordnance QF 25-pounder on Carrier Valentine 25-pounder Mark 1. In fact, they used the Valentine 2 hulls, the same hull that you see on the Soviet Valentine, the one that's a premium tank in the game. It's a tough little tank, a very tough little tank, but it's also fairly slow. 24 kilometers an hour maximum speed. You can see the enemy are making yes, they're making ground in our territory already. Got an AMX CLC who's taken a bit of damage, and then 581 Stuart who's going straight down to the corner, and I think from there he's going to turn in. But look at that! That's what you get when you get hossballs on the game. He fires in rounds super accurate that wipe out enemy tanks with just one shot. He picked up 419 hit points by wiping out what Jiggles calls the cutest little tank in the game, the Looks. He's now going for a 14 TP, rounds out. And that 14 TP took a penetrating shot. He's down by 398 hit points, and we're about to finish him off. Oh, he didn't get him with the second shot. He must have pulled back. Okay. They only built these little Artys during 1942 and 1943. Oh, he just got a kill. He just took out the 14 TP that he missed on the previous game. He actually pulled back, and although it looked like he was going for the other 2 tanks, the Panzer III, Aslains J and the Churchill, he actually got the 14 TP. Now, it was a stopgap. The British needed a tank or an Arty that actually had a 25-pounder gun, and that's what the Bishop normally carried. In the game, it's a 4.5-inch howitzer. In fact, the stock gun is the actual vehicle, the actual gun that was used on this little tank. He's got his third kill rather, in the game, after killing off that light tank, the 14 TP. Who's next? Goes for the SAU-40, takes a direct hit, 197, and he's out the game. Now going for the Matilda, who pulls back. We're almost at maximum range. Rounds out. These shells are coming down almost vertically on the target. Well, very close to vertical. Now, as I said, it was a stopgap. They actually needed an artillery piece with a 25-pounder, and because that's the main Arty that the British use, the main field gun. So, almost took out the Churchill one with that one, but we've been spotted. And an enemy Arty shell. Ooh. The enemy griller worked out where we are, saw the tracer probably, fired a round in. He did manage to wound us, hit the tracks, and 63 hit points have gone, but we're still in the game. So what they did is they designed the Sexton based on the M4 hull. It was supposed to be just a pure carrier for the 25-pounder gun. I think he got a direct hit there, but he pulled back. And of course the Sexton couldn't be produced immediately. The M4s are only just in production. So in fact they assigned the production to Canada, to Montreal, and they produced it there in large numbers and sent those over to Britain. But before they could be ready, they had to have some form of SPG. And of course they came across, they said, we'll use the Valentine hull and we'll stick a 25-pounder on top of that with a casement so it was enclosed. And it worked. Admittedly, they only built 149 of them, and after the war, 48 of those were actually passed to the Turkish and given to them. But it was effective, and it did take part in the campaign, both in Africa and going up the coastline of Italy. In fact, it was very useful in Italy. The thing was, though, this little Arty couldn't carry a huge number of shells. Even though it did carry some, it couldn't carry a huge amount. So they either had to have a truck going alongside them with the ammo, or they had to actually carry a trailer. And of course, you've probably heard David Fletcher say that it's the worst possible thing to have a trailer being pulled behind a tank, because after all, it's like towing a caravan and trying to fight from the car that's actually towing the caravan. It just doesn't work. Okay, I think the other enemy Arty's been spotted, the Fifi. Yep, he's been seen in the background. Of course, this is an encounter game, so it does take much longer to actually complete the cap. We're one up on the enemy at the moment, and I think hossballs decided he needs to change position to make sure that he can get shots on those enemy vehicles. Now, the British originally were going to buy the M7 Priest, but of course they didn't have a stock of 105mm shells. So of course it was a bit of a problem. So they did have huge amounts of 25-pounder rounds being produced, and they thought those would be much better. They couldn't retrofit the 25-pounder howitzer in the M7, so what they did is they bought a few 105mm rounds to go in the M7 Priest that they did buy. And I think that Stug is about to die. Yes! Another kill. 4 kills now. And they only acted as a stopgap until, of course, they could put the Sextons into operation. And in fact, once the Sextons were in operation, they were used by both the British, the Canadians, and the Australians as well. In fact, they had their own version of the Sexton. Now, we've got a Stug who's way out at maximum range. He's sitting on top of that hill shooting down on our guys. I think he's just changing position, so hossballs fires around in just to deter him. Can't get a shot off there. In fact, our Stug's about to meet their Stug. Okay, so this is going to cause them to fight it out together, but we're still going to try and put a round in. Oh, all the Arty rounds are going in. Unfortunately, our teammate got wiped out by the gorilla on the enemy team, but we know where he is now as well. He's just at the back of the map. Just missed with that shot. It's 2 versus 2. Arty on our team, and Arty and a tank destroyer on the enemy team. The tank destroyer being the Stug 3 Aslains B, and their Arty being the gorilla, the same guy who got damage on us. And on our team, we've got a gorilla and hossballs, and I think that gives us an unfair advantage on the enemy, because after all, their team doesn't have a 3 marked player. Now, this little Arty does shotgun very well. As you've probably seen hossballs do it before. He shotgunned enemy and taken them out face to face. I've done it myself in the Bishop. I rather like this Arty as well, taking it out more than occasionally. and you can deal an awful lot of damage face-to-face with the enemy. I've taken out heavy tanks with a face-to-face shot, and it really surprises them how we can do that. hossballs is taking the battle to the enemy, but he's being careful about it. I think he's going to go after the gorilla first, and then he'll go after the Stug. Gorilla's staying where he is for the moment. Of course, he can give us advance warning of what's actually going on behind us, just in case the enemy tries to get behind us. The view range on the gorilla is 260 meters. The view range on the bishop is 250. So it's a 10-meter difference. So the enemy gorilla should be able to spot us just before we spot him, if they've got the same camera rating. But remember that hossballs has got an excellent crew, so he will probably have the drop on the enemy gorilla, unless of course he's changed positions. Well, the enemy's in the cap, but remember hossballs is going after the enemy Arty first. The moment we kill the enemy gorilla, he's going to know where we are, and he'll probably come after us and stop the cap. That is, of course, assuming that he's not the one capping at the moment. Well, he's not where he was last seen. He's not out in the field. Oh, and we just lost our gorilla to the Stug. He didn't see him coming up behind him. The Stug is out in the field, which means it must be the enemy gorilla that's in the cap. And that means that hossballs is going to have to come around, attack the cap from the north side, which the enemy gorilla might not be expecting. The Stug, in the meanwhile, is probably searching through the lower area of the map, trying to find out where hossballs has gone. No need to worry about time, we've got plenty of it. After all, it is an encounter game, and encounter games take twice as long to cap. I think he's trying to get around this far side to actually approach him from the northeast side of the map, and that might give him a chance to get close to the cap without being spotted. Because of course there's plenty of houses, bushes, trees and everything in the way, so the enemy probably won't see us. The other thing, of course, is if we get really close to the enemy, I mean really close to the enemy, we will be able to get a decent shotgun into him. Okay, he's getting closer. Remember, hossballs has got this way of playing that he stays in the aim mode even while he's driving around. He doesn't come out of it. And there's the enemy gorilla. We can see him now. He's on the corner. One shot hits him. Doesn't kill him outright, but he is turning. Or has he been? Yes, he is turning. Next shot will kill. Yes! Got him. But we don't know where the Stug Line Encounter is. Now, the question is, will the Stug come and try and kill us? Well, there he is. He's behind us. And we're turning. And oh, he's backed himself up against the wall there, so he has to get round the building. Now, the thing is, the Stug is only 325 hit points as far as I can see. 329. So we can kill him with one shot if we get a pen. Well, we didn't. But, no, I came out of aim view at that moment because I saw what was going to happen. Camera-wise, it was going to cause us problems, but he shotgunned this Stug at very close range and blew him away to win the game. Well done, hossballs. Well, that was an exciting battle right to the very end. I had to come out and do that as a replay because you couldn't see it adequately how well he did that. He actually fired his shotgun directly into the Stug Line Encounter at face-to-face, face grappling and hugging the enemy tank destroyer but he fired it in and blew the guy away, even at risk to himself, and won the game. It was an ace tanker game for hossballs in the Bishop. He got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 20. A high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game. A top gun for getting at least 6 kills. The last kill was the 6th one. And he also got a defender for resetting the cap, getting at least 70 defense points. Yes, he did reset that gorilla and get enough to get his defender. And look at that win rate. Very high indeed. 14,351. You don't often see that in a tier 5 Arty, but it was a great game. Let's have a look at team score. Well, definitely the highest damage, 2,663 hit points of damage. The second highest damage was the guy he killed right at the end. He managed to get 2,197 hit points. And the third highest damage was the other Stug guy, B, got 1,183 hit points. He picked up a defender medal by resetting the cap, that one. And the other one got a Confederate, even though he got wiped out right at the last moment. When it came to kills, yes, hossballs got that as well. 6 kills to him. 3 kills to the Matilda on his own team, the Stug 3 B, and the Churchill 1 on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, he got that one as well. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,027, the only player to get over 1,000, went to hossballs. 764 went to the A32, and 657 went to the Matilda. He fired 24 rounds in that game. You only get 39 rounds ammunition, so that means he had 15 spare at the end of the game. 14 direct hits on the enemy, 3 penetrations, 16 splash. Damage of 2,663, of which 2,156 were at more than 300 meters. Obviously, you can see that some of that damage was done at very close range. The gorilla was killed at close range, and so was the Stug 3 B. He also received 2 hits from the enemy. 1 was a penetration, 2 hits by way of splash. Yes, I think the Stug, we made a bit of a mistake by actually trying to splash him at the end with HE, and of course it didn't work out so well for him. He did get 1 decent penetration in, though, and did do some damage. And of course the other splash was from the gorilla, who did get an early shot in by working out where he was, but didn't know precisely where in the bush that hossballs was hiding. He damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 6, and he earned 896 credits from the game on a free-to-play account, and 1,540 experience points as well. But I think you'll say that that was a really epic game, because it went down to the last minute, and it was also a face-to-face confrontation with the enemy, and of course hossballs came out on top. If you're an Arty player and you didn't like that game, I would be shocked, because that's an absolutely brilliant game. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below, because it feeds the algorithm, gets the videos noticed. And thank you for watching.